What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
もちろんだ。
Put your tray tables up and your seat in the full upright position, because this is the Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy For You Scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Aiden, as we bounce about all the anime, all the manga, and all that scanlation content. What are we talking about today, Tom?
Today is I guess you could call it a post-mortem episode for the recently concluded Tsurugi no Nai, aka Sword Girl.
Press F to pay respects.
Well, I mean, it's not like dead. I mean, yeah, it's over, but...
It's over. Well, yeah, he's not dead. It's just his life is over.
Yeah. Hey, well, don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened. Is that how that phrase goes?
It's something like that. It's a very spicy meme.
I guess so. It's more like an old expression. It's not really a meme. Well, I mean, it's technically a meme. Whatever. Let's get into you said you had comments. Let's skip to that then.
We'll get into the content that's not the main content that you're all here for. The content that's the pre-content. This is the warm-up. We get to sit down on the couch and go through all the comments that all of our many passengers have. They've rung their flight attendant call button and had decided to tell this to the flight attendant. So now I'm going to relate it. Okay, I'll skip that metaphor.
Yeah. I think, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but sometimes you try a little bit too hard with these metaphors here.
Are you calling me a tryhard? I don't know. I don't know if we can, you might need to catch these hands.
All right, I'll catch them, but let's catch some comments first.
All right, so on last week's episode, we had Devin Jackson say, wow, this is an hour. I'm going to need some snacks and a drink. I told him it's got to be a packet of peanuts to be thematically accurate with the airplane motif.
I mean, they're generally about an hour, right? These episodes.
It's been like anywhere from like 45 to an hour, even an hour 15. I think one episode was, or at least that was the raw before I cut it.
Right.
Devin also says he always reads manga on his phone while on Manga Life. It's always been his favorite site. It's simple and clean, just like Hikaru, whatever it is, Kingdom Hearts. Simple and clean.
Was that the name of the song or the singer that you were trying to say?
It was like I don't remember what it is, Kari or something like that.
Yeah, I remember jamming to that song a lot back in the day.
I've never used Manga Life though. I looked it up. Looked like a good site. Just never used it before. Devin also goes on to say that the review of Behemoth was A-OK symbol. It was a great podcast, so that's a great thing to hear. We're always glad that somebody enjoys this, and that's the best thing to hear. Charlie Saint comes in and he says, advertising contest idea, and he quotes, I will now crash this plane with no survivors, but if there are any survivors, please check out the flight plan on YouTube. Thanks. And I said, make sure it's in Flight Simulator X, of course, or with due process in Minecraft, because don't do that in real life.
Yeah, like I said, nothing illegal, and keep it clean.
No Fed posting. Nikki comes on, and this is actually last week's episode, all about waifus, and he's like, oh god, I'm so happy you guys decided to cover Sheriff Evans in this episode. The manga is an absolute blast to read, not to mention it gets better in the later chapters. Haha. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've been reading it forever personally, and I'm really glad to see the progress in it. And you can go check that out on the YouTube, or you can go through your podcast feed and read the episode all about waifus. That's a great one too. We had another comment from Tim Sola, who says, I just found you guys today. I've been looking for Bane jokes, and it's pretty good stuff. So
that's the vector through which we were found.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I was looking for Bane jokes. That's good. Keep up the funny stuff. So that's excellent. Carlos says on your flight school, the world record speed run flight school, he said you should have called it the joy of scanlating, which actually is I'm not sure if it's a meme, but
that sounds like it's a reference to something. We should take this part out to hide our ignorance, because it sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like
it does. Well, it's like the joy of painting. I'm thinking like Bob Ross, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he means it in that regard.
Yeah, it feels like it's a similar thing to like Zen and the Art of X. Like that kind of
motorcycle
format.
maintenance, yeah.
Well, that's the original, but then you could like extrapolate that to make it like kind of like
Zen in the Art of Manga Scanlations, yeah.
Yeah.
To be completely transparent with our passengers, I didn't actually listen to the new flight school. I haven't done it yet. I need to go listen to it.
I mean, technically it's a watch because it's a video. I mean, if you want,
I should know what we're promoting. I have to keep you on a tight leash and.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to check it out and then see all the bad things I said about you in it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Maybe don't.
Well, that's all of our comments for this, or should I say, this is the best comments that we've curated. These are all the top tier comments get in. We get thousands of comments, but these are the ones that, the cream of the crop.
I have some pseudo comments thing that I wanted to say about the last chapter of Antarctica Girls. There were two different commenters in there. They're creating like a waifu war. They're trying to start a waifu war in there by saying Hinata a best, and then the other guy said Yuzu is best, and they're both wrong. You know, that's the problem. And I'm pretty sure, all right, maybe my anime identifying abilities are dulled right now, but I'm pretty sure the guy who said Yuzu is best has a different girl from that show as his avatar. Kind of confusing, but I want to reiterate again that I really like the one episode, basically the episode that I want to do this whole podcast for, if that makes sense. Like the one that I want to do the most is the waifu bracket. We will definitively say which girl is best once we get to that episode.
Maybe we can have like some type of like write-in, a survey monkey, or like a bracket system where you get to vote. That'd be pretty cool. That's what happens when you
I was thinking it would just be you and me going down the list.
Well, we have maybe it's another episode
like
where we do
bracket, a fantasy bracket.
Yeah. Wow. Waifu fantasy
maybe winner
sports.
would get something, you know, like if they could predict our bracket accurately.
Oh, that's interesting.
We need more listeners so we could have a contest.
Yeah. So tell all your friends and we'll have some prizes like a body pillow or something.
We would need a sponsor first.
Are those expensive?
I think they're like $80 for like a sleeve. Probably also $80 for a pillow. I don't know. I'm kind of talking out the side of my neck. They are triple digits once you get a pillow and the cover, as far as I know.
All right, we'll come up with a different price, something that's cheaper.
I've seen tiny little body pillow thingies where they're picture like a tiny pencil case or like a glasses case for like spectacle glasses. It's like that size, but it's like a tiny little, like it's like a squeezable body pillow. It's weird. I don't know.
It's like one of those stress ball things.
Kinda, yeah, but I mean, I think it's pillow consistency. I don't know. One of my friends gave one to another friend.
Sure, it wasn't like an Ona hole.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. You know, I'm just not.
They're just like, oh, try this one. This one is great. Like,
yeah, it was a Monster Musume themed one.
Oh yeah, now I'm really not sure.
I'm not either, but I'm pretty sure it was a pillow. I don't know.
He's like, this one's slime. You can even feel it.
It comes with slime packets.
Oh, like Bad Dragon.
I think most of them do come with slime packets. We'll call them in a euphemistic way.
Yes.
Anyway, we should veer away from that until we actually get a sponsor from one of these non-Christian sites. Speaking of calls to action, I want to reiterate that there's an opportunity if you have any mangas that you want scanlated. I don't have anything lined up to do next.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, you know how many people are like begging in threads, I need my waifu scanlated, and
I don't know that
opportunity.
If you
I'm sure it happens.
You see that. I mean, no, if you see that, you should tell me, and then like you know, if it looks like
I point things that you should scanlate all the time.
I've never seen you do that once.
Not recently.
Unironically.
Before we started scanlating, I used to send some things.
I seriously can't even think of one, but
they're all like one-off, like it's trash. They're all trash.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, I would expect nothing less from you, but
of the highest quality trash.
I have a few that I've found that look like potential candidates, but I mean, nothing is set in stone yet. Like I said in the last episode, one of my main criteria is a number of girls in there. It doesn't have to be harem. It doesn't have to be like waifu bait, but I want more girls for the bracket.
We all need more girls in our lives.
That's my number one goal with all of this stuff. I want the bracket. I don't know why. It'll be like a subpar episode, but I want to do the bracket episode so much.
It'll be the culmination, that in the our traps K. That's what
be
we're all building
100.
towards. These are all like tutorial episodes just to get our like voices and our preparation so we're comfortable in front of the microphones, so when we're curating the debate between the top scholars in the world.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I joke that it'll be episode 100, but if we make it that far, then yeah, okay, I'll commit to doing a Traps Are Gay episode, or Our Traps Gay is how this ends.
It'll be live streamed too, and we'll have it in a stadium. We'll have a live audience.
Yeah, I bet.
I've got a segment, but I need some help with naming the segment. It's got to be alliterated.
Okay.
I need like
Alright.
the equivalent of the corner section that starts with an L, or a time that starts with an L.
A location. Well, what's the first L? Is it too much of a spoiler to say right
Yeah,
now? I mean,
yeah.
well, we're gonna go through the segment anyway. So, well, I mean, I'm gonna
Maybe I want to do it next
like
week.
a minute. Oh, it's
Yeah,
for
but-
next week.
Maybe. No, it's for this week.
It's the Love Live location. You downloaded Love Live, and you're gonna say which is
you're
your
right.
favorite waifu.
It's which is the trap one? That was
There isn't one because Love Live is pure. And I hate to do an update, but I'm almost done with the show. I've been watching it slowly. Love Live, not Idolmaster. And there is competition for best girl. Nico's still the best,
Oh.
but Umi, for you other poor lost souls who know what I'm talking about, I would say
don't.
Umi's
Yeah.
number 2. I know, but there might be
Love,
one other cursed person out there, but she seems like she's a number 2 contender.
She looks like the Sasuke equivalent.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't
You
know. I
should
just
take
Googled.
it back. What's your segment?
Oh, it's the lazy location where I will
Sounds so
confess.
stupid.
I will confess my sins of apathy and laziness.
Well, I mean, is that really so remarkable that it needs its own segment?
No. It was just it's a way for me to get out of giving myself a Sudoku strike in the Sudoku corner. I forgot to
See,
put
Sudoku Corner doesn't have alliteration.
Sudoku segment.
Okay, there we go.
Sudoku second, because it's only going to take a couple seconds, but
To kill yourself. What did you mess up here? What were you too lazy to have done?
I have forgotten to make clips of the manga minute for last week and the week previously. So there were no like clips. We just did the post show and I put out the normal show.
Oh man, you need to.
I know.
That's a Sudoku right there.
No, that's a lazy. It's a lazy star. You get a star on the board.
It's like a 4-sided star. It's like it's not even completely finished.
you tried.
It's like, well, you didn't though. So it's like it's a less than a you tried star. It's like you. You didn't even try. It's just you exist.
You've seen that picture of the you tried star, right?
Oh yeah, that's a classic. I mean, how metrics wise, how good or important are the clips? I'm still under the impression that full episodes are the way to.
I like full episodes better, and they're easier to do. But a lot of the clips bring in some new people. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Is that empirically or theoretically speaking?
Both.
Interesting.
Yeah. We got the full Platonic and Aristotelian philosophy. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Go back to Greek school, nerd. You can't hang with me.
I'm gonna go back to my cave, Plato's cave.
I took 2 years of Greek in high school, so I'm basically an expert.
Wow, you're like a polyglot. You've got all your different languages that you know.
Yeah, well, I'm amazing. I don't know Greek. I don't know how to count to 10. We use the book that, like in the first chapter, teaches you the word for like slave and plow the field. So like after semester 1, I could say something like, "Hey slave, go plow the field and go fill the water jar."
But nothing like where's the bathroom, because back then they didn't have bathrooms. They just had designated streets.
Well, I think ancient Greece.
No,
had,
I know. They had plumbing. It wasn't
the
it the Greeks
aqueduct or
that made?
whatever.
Yeah, they made the first plumbing. Or
It was them or the Romans, but I think it was the Greeks. Don't
one
quote
of
me on
those.
that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you took the course.
Well, it was only pseudo historical.
Well, speaking of pseudo on topic, what is our topic for this week? I know we have a special anniversary topic of pressing F to pay respects to our beloved little sword loli.
That's one way to phrase it. Yeah. This is like I said, I think I phrased it as a post-mortem. So we did this for Hyaka no Shirushi when that concluded, and now we're doing it for Tsurugi no Nai, Sword Girl, as we call it. And it's kind of like an episode-long manga minute / behind-the-scenes commentary in terms of scanlation.
Nice.
Oh,
Well,
God,
I like the
gee,
manga.
that's
That's it. Yeah. Cool. Go read it. That's it.
Cool.
All right. See you next week.
So I don't have any proper place to put this, and it's a visual point, so I might as well just kind of lead with this, even though it's a bad thing to lead with. But I didn't realize until I was 5 chapters in that she doesn't, the main girl Loretta, she doesn't have sleeves. Did you know that?
No, I didn't,
She
because everything's
has
black
those
and
little
white.
cuffs. She has the cuffs. Like I don't know what else they might be called, but it looks like they're sleeves. But if you look at the cover, like I don't know how close you are to a working
look at that, yeah.
internet browser, but on the cover, her arms are arm colored, not sleeve colored.
It's what throws you off is she has like long
It's like the
sleeve
cuffs.
cuffs. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
why? That's weird.
I know, it's really weird.
And she's
Yeah,
got a collar on, but it's a vest, I
Well,
guess, because
yeah,
but
it's
it
like
looks like
it's
she's
like a
wearing a dress shirt,
vest.
but it's just her arms. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that.
crazy. I had no idea until like I was like halfway through, and then I noticed the cover.
I recently just reread and caught all the way back up and even read, which it's probably out by now, but I've read the last chapter, which
Whoa,
which is
exclusive content.
exclusive content. Yeah, just by a couple of hours. But this will be, I'm sure, filled with spoilers. So if you don't want things spoiled,
Definitely.
go read it first and then come back here. We'll be right here, or you can keep us running in the background so we get those view counts up.
Maybe you could listen to like a minute or two as we explain what the manga is, and then jump out.
And then you'll be
finish.
like, whoa, this is so awesome. Maybe you haven't heard about it before. You're just like loyal fans, or you're stuck on this flight with us and you're like, wow, I've never heard of this manga before. And you're going to want to go read it real quick. So you can pause right now or whenever. Just careful of the spoilers.
Yeah. So explain to them what it is, because you're so much better at the manga explanations
no,
than
thank
I
you.
am.
Thank you for this. You're putting me into a position.
You should always see it coming. You should always.
I should
expect-
at this point. Yeah. I guess we'll do it like a normal manga minute. So the manga is called Tsurugi no Nai, which we have termed Sword Girl, which I think is a better name. In a certain country, in a certain era, lived the descendants of the hero, one whom harbors the ability to unsheath the holy sword and become the chosen hero. One day, a mysterious girl with a sword stuck in her head appears before the black sheep of the descendants. Quiche, is this chance encounter the start of a new legend? It's a lighthearted adventure between a holy sword girl and a dropout hero. What could go wrong? Oh, it's crazy. Woo!
Did I really say one whom harbors? Because I think it should be who. I think I got overzealous with my whom usage. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, you said whom.
Well, whatever.
It's really whomst.
Whomstiv.
You'll know it's a good manga. We've got 40,000 views on the manga, so
Nice.
everybody likes it. It's been favorited about 2,000 times. There's about 11 chapters to it, so it's a fun little, hour or two that you could spend reading, depending on how quick you read. It takes me maybe 10 minutes to go through all of them because I just speed read. I stare at the pretty pictures and don't read anything, which is why I miss crucial plot points. But you're not going to want to miss the crucial plot points of this
I
because
mean,
it's a
they're all
exciting
pretty
story.
they're pretty well spelled out, so it's hard to miss them, I would think. Yes. No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We don't have any show notes for this. I don't know what do we want to talk about.
I mean, how do you do a normal
you?
manga minute? That's what we're doing. So I was thinking what we could do is kind of go through chronologically, like the story, and then like as I have comments and stuff as they pop up, we maybe talk about them like that. So,
Yeah, so-
it's like a guided tour.
Oh yeah, well this is the story of Quiche, whose story got flipped and turned upside down as he went to become the new prince of Bel Air.
That's pretty accurate, yeah. Except for well, you got his name right, so that's pretty good. The name actually was something that took me a little bit to figure out.
Now, all the characters seem to have some interesting names in this regard, and it's definitely an artistic choice on the behalf of the author.
Definitely, yeah. Like most of the characters have food names, like quiche.
Hot dog.
Sir Hot Dog, a royal. Whatever.
No, it's just hot dog. It's just hot dog.
Oh, that reminds me of remember that Adventure Time episode with the Wiener Knights, little hot dog knights?
Oh, vaguely.
And then it's
yeah.
like, make your wish. I want to blow. I mean, get really big. Dude, I lost it when I first saw that. I realized this was a mistake. It's too late for him. But yeah, most of them have food names. Like, I can't think of it. Chardonnay, that's one. That's edible. It's not necessarily a food.
Little Debbie zebra cakes.
Yep.
TM.
It's all branded stuff.
They're all branded names. We got Monster Ultra Zero.
One of the girls is named Michelin, though. I don't know that as a food. I know that as a tire company.
Well-
that one really kind of breaks the mold.
You could I can make a leap towards that. It's like a Michelin star restaurant.
You know what? That's close enough to be plausible. I will believe it.
Because, I mean, they have that in Japan, too. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's worldwide Michelin stars, yeah.
So I think you probably already know this, but this is a fun little anecdote. The reason why a tire company has Michelin star, like they're good for restaurants, is because they wanted people to get out of the city and wear up their tires. So what they did is they found restaurants that are out in the middle of nowhere and wrote a book about it. And they're like, wow, look at all these 5-star Michelin star restaurants. You better drive to go get some food there. It wasn't even based on like what the best restaurants were. It was just restaurants that were far away that you would have to
the most remote.
you'd have to eat up your tires to go there.
I did know that, and if you had posed the question to me, where did you learn that from? I would have said it was from the Etymologicon, but I know you didn't read that. So do you know where you got that information from?
Yeah, actually, I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk who said that.
Oh, my next guess would have been Scott Adams, but that could make sense too. I've seen some Gary stuff.
I think maybe I even told you about it one time, but who knows?
That could have been, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you hear it twice from the same person, and then you think that you both heard it from something else.
Is that like the monkeys typing in a room, and eventually they can climb the ladder?
Yeah, you're mixing a few experiments, and then one will hug the fake mommy surrogate monkey instead of getting food, instead of washing his coconut.
There was I think it was an Onion video or something like that. It's like we taught a monkey to understand its own death, or like to understand
like
the concept of death. Yeah, and it's like we've did it. We've made Coco incredibly depressed and existential grief. It won't stop crying, like because it knows it's inevitable death.
Well, that's sad. How do we get back to?
Well,
the
speaking
manga?
of inevitable death. So this little loli is walking around with a sword hilt sticking out of her head, and if she pulls it out,
the holy sword maiden or priestess, whatever I called her.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say lowly. I would say that's disrespectful to call her.
Well, if you pull the sword out, would she die?
Well, it would be extremely painful.
For her, yeah.
Oh wow, way to skip a line.
She's a big girl. Like, what do you want? Like,
well, yeah, that would have worked. That would have worked. You know.
Well, she's not. She's a tiny little girl.
Yeah, she's a tiny girl. But yeah, so she's got a sword in her head. Man, we really botched this explanation. I don't. We're all over the place with this episode. This is either going to be the best or the worst. I tell you.
It'll all come down to the editing.
What? It's a 3-minute episode. What happened?
It's a blitz.
The manga minute to revive that term.
A special After Dark episode. This is the red eye flight. Normally we record in the daytime, but this is the evening recording studio. So you can see my
Sunday night.
Sunday.
So one of the first things, chapter 1 is always, when you're translating a manga, chapter 1 is probably the hardest always, because that's when you get all the world building, all the capital T terms that you have to like settle like a translation for. This of course is no exception. So there were a lot of things where I later regret my choices. What you read in the was it the like description, I guess is what it was, the manga description. Dropout hero. I don't know that dropout was a good word for it. It should have been like loser. Like the Japanese term for it has a meaning where it's like, I don't know, a student who's fallen behind compared to like his peers.
I've seen it scanlated as dropout before, like in other mangas. Like dropout is kind of its own little meme in the translation things. Like, you know, it can't be helped or something like that. Like dropout is an adjective that I've seen specifically with manga and things like that. So I think it's common. I think it's fine.
I might have known that subconsciously, and maybe that's where it came from.
That's
like the word
probably
choice.
Pretty likely, actually.
Yeah, because it's not like it's like, I don't know, it's not like it's an option on any of like the dictionaries or anything when you look up the word. So yeah, it might have been something like that. It's kind of interesting, but it's used throughout here and there throughout the whole manga, and I do kind of give it a different translation every time. Like one time it'll be like a loser, or like, I don't think I ever used like incompetent, but the point
punketsu.
is, yeah, I no, but he kind of is a little bit punkotsu, but I wonder how much of that is our own house definition of it rather than the actual definition of punkotsu.
Probably a lot, yeah. I mean, that's it's like when a kid learns a new word, he wants to use it all the time, which is basically, I feel like I've sprinkled it into almost every episode since then.
Maybe more than, you've brought up punkotsu more than we've talked about Digimon, which is our main topic. So that's
true,
impressive.
yeah. And we are supposed to be the #1 Digimon podcast.
Well, we still are, but we're also the #1 Ponkotsu podcast.
And Metabots.
Yeah.
And our sponsor, Little Debbie Zebra Cakes, TM. Thank you.
You better be mailing me a package of those. I want to eat some zebra cakes. For the record, I don't say zebra. That was a joke. I say zebra like a proper American. Some other things, like in chapter 1, this one really stuck with me as an imperfect decision. So I'm sure if you've read this, you've seen Sir Quiche in like every other panel, because Loretta always calls him Quiche-sama, which, as you know, is like, a high level honorific. So I kind of fitting the setting, I figured Sir is pretty appropriate because
I think so.
He's like he's a descendant of a hero, so he's got like not royal lineage, but some kind of like
it feels royal.
Blood.
Like his whole family is of royalty, aren't they? Like it definitely got the opinion.
Literally royalty.
You get the vibe that they're like really honored. Like everybody in the town respects them. They seem like way upper class.
Definitely nobles.
Yeah.
Like at the least, they hang with the king all the time. Like they're always in the castle.
I think at this point they're that's pretty royal. That's as royal as it gets for.
I mean, Sir Quiche, I think, is a very suitable translation. I made the decision with this manga to not use honorifics, which is my default. Sometimes I'll use them in some mangas, but if I can avoid them, I will. And it really wasn't much of a problem. Like there were parts later where it's like talking to Loretta. This is much later once the twist is revealed. They'll say like, Mao Sama, which is like demon lord.
Oh boy,
Sama.
Well, that really, you just get right into
Dude, if they're this deep, then we've had enough spoiler warnings. It's safe.
I thought we were going chronologically. Yeah. So anyway, it's in one of the second.
This is so disorganized. We're not going any order.
It's like the movie Primer, where everything's out of order. It's going to be on the passengers to put to clip up this episode and put it in correct chronological order. The whole story is that the hero comes and pulls out the sword, killing the holy girl, and reawakens the demon in the demon king. And he's like, well, right. Why would I, as the hero, ever awaken the demon king? That sounds dumb. But it turns out our holy loli is our holy loli is the demon girl.
The name of a location in the first Mother game. I think Holy Loli, Mount Holy Loli, or something like that.
What did they mean by this?
Don't quote me on that.
Turns out she is the demon king. No, John, you are the demons, which is almost like a verbatim like line in there. It's like, no, you are the demon king.
Yeah,
she's like, what? And then
I don't know if I was inspired or not.
I'm sure you were subconsciously.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this in another thing where it's like devs don't have this, have this, and it was don't have boy or girl, have little girl and little brown girl as options. Right. So it turns Loretta from a pale girl into an Okinawan demon girl, like a gyro.
Wow, that's
a gyro, a euro.
Very educated, very erudite reference there.
Exactly. I've been reading my my gyro mangas and bully mangas.
Gyro Zeppeli for the JoJo fans out there. You've been reading part 8 of JoJo, I see.
But it gives her a very succubus girl outfit.
It's like the first thing that you go to. It's like, yeah, she's a demon lord, but she's kind of like a succubus.
Now you have to specify girl or female
succubus
in brackets
female.
After, because the default is male. Her lower half is like demon tentacles and stuff, or like shadows and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say just don't read into it too much. It seems kind of like an artistic kind of thing.
But it's funny. All of her clothes are basically gone, and it's covered with shadows, or like like evil demon shadows, except for her cuffs, like that you mentioned. Her cuffs are still there on her wrists.
Are they?
Yeah, but they're black now. They're like black shadow cuffs.
Paper stuff. I have to look this up.
Look on the final chapter. It's like the first page.
Oh yeah, look at that. I totally didn't notice that. That's hilarious. Yeah, and she has a different sword too. She has like Rage Pain. What a funny name, dude. Rage Pain, that sword. Like that's actually what it was called. And it wasn't like the Japanese word for rage and the Japanese word for pain. It was like Rage Pain or something like that. Like I had to keep it in because it was so silly sounding. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I've got tons of just miscellaneous random notes, so I might as well just start crossing some off.
Yeah, now that we've basically spoiled the entire story of the manga without making it sound interesting, we can go through the least interesting parts.
If you're listening to here, you've read it, so you know that it's good. You know that it's interesting. One of the early things that we've actually talked about here was
Metabots.
That pun, you're barking up the wrong tree. So that was an early challenge when it came to scanlating this.
That's still a fan favorite and one of my personal favorites.
Something though that I thought was really interesting was that she uses that tree summoning power, I think like maybe in the next chapter or maybe 2 chapters in, but then never again. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but
yeah.
I particularly noticed it because I labored so much over that stupid pun, and like I spent so much mental energy on it that I was actually disappointed when it only showed up like one other time.
It was in a couple chapters like right away, and I actually wish it was in there more because it seemed like all the comments were very positive about that character, the little tree characters. Like everybody mentioned it. Yeah, and it's like you're barking up the wrong tree, leave me alone. You had all the tree puns.
Sure, yeah. I feel like the manga kind of built it up. Like when it was introduced, it was like, this is her power, where either she would have other similar magic powers, like spells that she could cast, or like that's one that she would use frequently. Never again. I don't know. It's weird. It's like the author forgot about the whole spell thing.
I don't really know how manga works, but did he always know it was just going to be a couple chapters long, or or do people really in general go into the idea of like they write for the sake that it's going to be there forever? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and that's a really good question that I don't know the answer to in this case. I do know that there are 4 chapters out on Pixiv, like comics.pixiv, something to that nature, where from what I understand, that's a site where you can like post your own comics, like your own fan manga maybe, and then I think from there it maybe like won a contest and got picked up to be a full volume. So I think it's possible that he had like more plans for like the scope of it, and then maybe it got picked up for like a manga, and the dude's like, well, you know, I can't really flesh this out, or like I can't fit this kind of filler in. I have to kind of trim down the whole story to make it fit into a volume.
I could see
I don't
that.
know. That's my game theory on it, but it also kind of doesn't make sense to me because to me I felt like the dragon chapters were kind of fillery.
They seem they seem kind of weird because maybe rushed because there was like a romance subplot that was like built up like that was going to be a big deal, and then it was just brushed off.
Yeah. So I thought that part was kind of weird too. And
it's like maybe he started writing it and he didn't know where he wanted to go with it, or
yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the girl dragon made sense. You know, she captured the brother because she's like, you know, she had a crush on him. But then with the whole prince dragon, what was his name? Shoot, Fennel. Yeah, that did seem kind of rushed. How quickly he kind of just like dropped. Well, it was also quick that he like latched onto her. I get that it's like, is it a puberty reference or like allegory?
I have no idea.
His body changes when he starts to like girls. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I didn't even get that. Yeah. Well, he turns into a dragon, to be specifically a dragon with a human head, which is weird. Yeah.
Dude, that really creeped me out. Not like creeped me out, but it's really
creepy.
kind of disgusting. It's like this is not pleasant to look at. So
no, it was
a page I wanted
disturbing to just look at. It was very weird.
That's
you know,
exactly.
like
I have disturbing dragon written down in my notes.
It was actually like I mean, you almost want to like I want to recommend people, even if you don't want to read the manga, just go and like watch that page just to see something that's a little unsettling. And it's like it's still drawn like a normal thing. It's not like he's out of the way. It's just something maybe like Uncanny Valley type deal where I don't know what it was about it that was so unsettling. I did make a particular note of it.
That would be a good page for one of those one-page threads that you tell me about.
Yeah, we could do that. Normally
that's the opposite effect. That would turn you off, I would think.
No, I don't know. I think people might like it because it's like so weird.
Because it's weird. Yeah.
And normally I just send ones where it's like the girls are in it because those normally seem to get.
Well, yeah, that's, you know, everyone likes the girls. That's what manga is all about, the girls. I think I only have one more little comment for the dragon chapters. The term reptile file, I wasn't sure how to handle that. I really wanted to say scaly. I really wanted to, but not only did I not want to introduce that sub community, I guess you might call it, into a pure manga.
The BG4U body of work.
Yeah. I didn't want to taint pure sword girl with that fetish, but also to me a scaly implies like humanoid dragons or like lizards and stuff. He seemed to be more into reptiles. I don't know, it was a tough call, but I just wanted it to be out there that I think scaly would have almost worked.
I do think reptile file turned out pretty well just because it, you know, kind of rhymes. It's kind of like you could see it being a saying.
Yeah. The way that the line was delivered, it was almost like you need an established term. If it were furry, it would have made a lot more sense because that's a more mainstream word nowadays where it's like, is he a furry? Where it's like, you say it with kind of like shock and contempt and disgust. It's like, was my brother this whole time? Was he a furry? Was he a reptile? style file. It doesn't really flow, but it's good enough. All right, I kind of want to do a hard jump back to the Sir Quiche thing, and this will be relevant. But the YouTuber Video Game Donkey.
Sure.
He did a video on that game. Oh, Octopath Traveler. I forgot the name for a second. And he was commenting on the writing in there. There's some character like a priestess, and she was talking to. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't remember. But it was something like Grand Priest. We'll say it's like, Grand Priest, are you okay? And it's like, how's the weather today, Grand Priest? Blah blah blah, Grand Priest. It's like that's a very Japanese thing to like say the person's name over and over and over and over. That's a problem that I had translating Loretta's dialogue for Sir Quiche, because she would say his name all the time, and it really I wasn't good at getting rid of them. I did get rid of a number of them, but I still left it more than I would like.
I don't think it's too much of a problem in a manga because it's a little different. I did see that Donkey video. I saw the clips that he's talking about, and what was particularly annoying about it was the voice acting saying the same thing every line. When you read it, you glaze over it a lot quicker. You don't have to listen to the full second for somebody to say the full name. I think it's a little bit more forgivable in our case.
I will admit that I'm a reading brainlet, and I sound out words when I read them. Not like I need to sound them out to like understand, but I mean like I'll pronounce them in my head. You know what I'm trying to say, though.
Yeah, I see what you mean. You're talking about for Japanese words or English words?
Both. Whenever I read, that's how I read.
See, I do the chunking thing. I just see like blocks of words.
Yeah, I've never practiced that enough to get good at it.
You just have to read more, Sonny.
Well, you have to do a specific kind of reading, like an intentional chunking. You have to actually practice.
All you
it.
millennials and Zoomers, back in my day, we used to read.
I mean, I could do it if I wanted to. I just don't. Well, I mean, there is truth to that. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I meant to say it as a meme, but it's also true.
Well, that's true.
I don't need no phony God's blessing. I'm enlightened by my own intelligence.
All right, yep, tip Fedora. I wish I had a cool
Fedora
segue
pun.
from like
Fedora segue. So, well, speaking of fedoras, what else is on people's heads? Sword hilts. Sword girl. Yeah, swords.
Oh, is that what we're talking about today?
What are we talking about today, Tom?
I don't know anymore. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Here's something in my notes that you get credit for.
Oh, I get credit for most things.
Well, not justifiably so, but in this case, it's justifiable. You remember that little melty slime rabbit?
Oh, yeah.
So here's, without putting any kind of spin on it, its name is Toge Usagi, which is like, I guess, melted rabbit. Obviously, that's not a good monster name. So I think it was you who came up with the name Bun Drop for it.
I believe so, yes. I will take the credit for that magnanimous name.
Yeah.
Do you have written down like the other things that we considered? Like slime bun or...
No, sadly
there was
not.
Because there were a lot of actually decent ones. And actually, on the alpha translation actually had, you left it as one that we weren't going to use. And then in the final
translation.
Well, you sent me a roughly scanlated page, and you're like, "What should I call this?" And it was called something like it was like something that a placeholder. Yeah, I was like, "No, you should change it to this." Bun Drop wasn't my first. I came up with like 2 other ones. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think that's a pretty good one.
It's a great name. It really is.
There's a Dragon Warrior monster, Dragon Quest, maybe. That's a weird topic in and of itself because there have been so many localization name changes throughout that series. But in the Game Boy Dragon Warrior Monsters, there was a slime that looks like a rabbit. I think its name was Slabbit. That's not a good one.
Nah.
So that was the bar that we had to pass, and I'm happy to say I think Bun dropped.
We cleared that lunge.
And then I guess later to tie up the Bun Drop into the honorifics thing, and I think it's the final chapter. I want to say it's Michelin. It's one of the daughter sisters. She says Toge Usagi Chan, so like Bun Drop Chan. I think I had her say Mr. Bun Bun, so it's like that. I think
that's not bad.
That's a pretty decent way of getting around the honorifics thing. Yeah, that was one of those things where translating, if you're scanlating, you need to keep like a translation Bible with all the terms, like their Japanese and English counterparts. I don't do that, but I really wish I had, because I had to like go through all the chapters to make sure I never named him anything, right? Like I never gave him like a pet name.
Nickname, yeah.
Because it's like, you don't want 2 different pet names.
You need like an Oxford style guide, but for scanlating.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they are called translation Bibles or term Bibles or something like that. As a Christian podcast, the Bible theme, you got to stick with it. Or maybe it's heretical at that point. I don't know. Speaking of holy stuff, look at that.
Look at that. Segu. Oh, baby.
So I don't know if you noticed this or not, Aiden.
I did.
Because because
I'm perceptive.
you don't read. Maybe somebody reading the manga would have noticed this. Holy sword is 2 words, but not in this manga. In this manga, it's 1 word. Often, it's a word that's so long for speech bubbles that it gets put into 2 words, and I had to put a hyphen. And I really hated that choice, but it's a choice that I made in chapter 1, so I was stuck with it for the whole volume. Because if you look at the English title, it says a brave X holy sword, but holy sword is 1 word. So kind of as a nod to that, I kept it as 1 word. I don't know. That's like the most pedantic little thing, but
Yep, and nobody noticed.
I'd like to think that if anybody noticed, it would have been confusion. They would have seen it and thought, why the heck is this guy, translating holy sword as 1 word? Is he an idiot? Maybe. I will not deny that claim on
We can
this
neither
point.
confirm nor deny.
There's actually another wink and nod to that I did. There was a line where Loretta had been kidnapped at this point, and then Quiche is trying to fight an enemy. He's like, I don't even have a sword. Like, I don't have a weapon. And I think I translated it awkwardly as, I'm without a holy sword.
Oh, that's...
I sacrificed English integrity for a wink and a nod to an English title. I don't know if I kept it in like that or not, but I think I did. I should have checked on that.
And it's like, and everyone clapped.
Yeah. And that holy sword was Albert Einstein. Actually, that's a decent segue right there. Look at this. We're not so disorganized anymore. We are flowing. The end pages were all from Sam Hyde's TEDx talk, Paradigm Shift 2070. Did you read any of the end pages? I hope you did. Otherwise, this will be a short little segment.
Ooh,
Oh, man.
let's say for the sake that I did.
Which was your favorite, then?
Oh, well, they were just all so great that it's hard
like
to pick a
picking your
favorite.
own child.
Yeah.
Picking your favorite child. Oh, man. I don't know. See, I think I've been getting better slowly at end pages in general. Just with the goose that I do, like I'll start to take like 2 panels from 2 different pages and mash them together. I did that for the last Antarctica Girls. I was really proud of that one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of fun with that kind of thing. If you didn't read them, like, there's not much to kind of say about it. But
Well, like from our end pages episode that we did that's critically acclaimed, we've established that nobody really reads end pages.
Well, no, we theorized, and it was mostly you and then me agreeing out of not knowing any better one way or the other.
I'll put it this way. I don't read end pages.
I even put a pomp joke in one of them for you.
I know.
You know?
I normally do read them, but we were short for time, so I was speed reading through the last couple chapters of
likely
Sword
story.
Girl. Because I like to let everything build up. Like I'll go like a month without reading a manga, like not every week, so I can have a bunch of them. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like I just read this chapter in 5 minutes, and now to get into another task of entertainment, it's going to take me another 20 minutes to find someplace else to think. You know what I mean? I'd rather have 30 minutes worth of chapters.
Yeah, I understand. That's relatively reasonable, I would say. But, coincidentally, you did have the whole volume translated in one chunk for this. Yeah, it really makes me think.
Really activates your almonds.
That's all right. My favorite one, though, it might be my new favorite quote from the 2070. It's a really long one, so the text is like size 8 font. Take this moment and breathe deeply, okay? Neurons are firing in your brain right now. You're more alert. You're astrally projecting. You're getting a little bit high on the sound of my voice. I have a nice timbre to it. I know that I'm a good public speaker, and you don't even realize that you're getting all jacked up in the head listening to my presentation. I love that quote so much.
I'm going to incorporate that into my next speech.
Actually, I skipped it. There was a line somewhere in there that says, you're drinking bulletproof coffee, but I didn't have room for that.
That's funny. That would have been great.
Yeah.
But if you guys haven't seen Paradigm Shift, you need to go watch that. It's the best 20 minutes you'll spend today, other than this cutting new edge, great content.
Let's see. So I only have a few more notes here. I'm trying to think, is there any decent order to kind of flow these? No, there
Probably
isn't.
not. No.
So, the talking scroll. What's his name?
Scrolly. His name is the map. He's the map.
There's a place you gotta go. I'm the one you need to know. Yeah,
It's
that
Scrolly.
one. So
I don't know names. we've established this. We've established it's canonical.
I put all this thought and this work into establishing. Nobody cares.
Yeah, this whole thing. Nobody cares about
That's
anything.
okay.
It's like
That's okay. This is a self-indulgent episode anyway. So his name is Sensei. Obviously that doesn't work. This is like a European style setting. They're not going to use the word sensei. I settled for teacher, but for some reason I decided that Quiche would be a cool guy and call him Teach.
I was gonna jokingly say you should call them Teach, but you did.
Too bad. I stole your thunder. You probably only think that because maybe you did secretly read it.
I did, yeah. It's subconsciously.
What a twist! You actually read the thing we're talking about. Sorry, I don't mean to be coming off as so passive aggressive. You know, I hold no malice, but that was just it was like a little flair that I added in because I thought it would be kind of cool because he seems like a pretty casual type of guy. You know, he wouldn't call some random talking scroll teacher.
Yeah, and you know, when you're scanlating, it doesn't have to be all by the books. You know, BG for you is like, you know, we like to work hard and we play hard.
But studies show we don't play hard enough. That was one of the end pages too. That was, I think, the first end page actually. Hold on, no, that was the third end page. I have them all up right now and I'm looking at them. Studies show that we work hard. It's true. You're a hard worker. And then I think he went in to the other people in the room. He's like, "You're a hard worker. You're a hard worker. I can tell because you're here." Yeah. But studies show that we don't play hard enough. We got to play harder. And he's like grabbing Loretta by the face and she's like, "Ow, ow, ow." Some of these are pretty good. They're pretty inspiring.
I know they are. Yeah,
you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and reread them because it's high quality, high effort, an effort post, if you will.
And since I just said Loretta, that'll be a suitable enough chance or excuse to go into them. I think when we were first talking about this manga, this was the week that chapter 1 came out, and we were kind of doing like a pseudo manga minute / advertisement for it. Yeah. And you suggested, since so many people are named after food, that Loretta's name should have been Omelet. And I really wanted to go with that because I think that's such a good name. You know, she has kind of like egg-colored hair, and omelets, you know, that's a cute name.
Omelets are made out of eggs, yeah.
That's true. Very good.
I did it. I get a star.
But unfortunately, I didn't change anybody else's names. If I were changing names, I totally would have named their Omelet, like no question
You
about
name
it.
them like Carl and Steven, like.
That would be pretty stupid. You can do it tastefully. I was going to make a blanket assertion, but then I remembered Digimon Dub, and I can't hate them for it. They did such a good job with that. Taichi, they turned him into Tai. Yamato, Matt. That's so smart, dude.
That's a pretty good one. That's pretty high effort.
Takeru, TK. Boom. So smart, dude. What's the next one?
In Pokemon,
Oh, yeah.
Ash's name isn't Ash, it's Toshiba.
Yeah, totally.
It's Samsung Toshiba Mitsubishi.
Yeah. Samsung's Korean. They had to change it for licensing and copyright issues. I'm sure you know, but his name is Satoshi, after Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon.
Was out there catching bugs.
There was a manga a few months ago that came out about, like, it's like a biography manga of him in the creation of Pokemon. And I wanted to talk about it at the time on the show. So this is as good a chance as any, since this is such an unstructured episode. And I really wanted to scanlate that manga because I like Pokemon, but I don't want Nintendo ninjas at my door.
Oh, yeah.
So
They have
I'm too
those.
scared. Yeah, I'm too scared of Big Nintendo, as they call it. But otherwise, I would really have liked to have scanlated that. See,
Well, do we have any more exciting notes and exciting
Well,
behind the scenes of
what do you mean
scanlating
more?
Tsurugi no Nai? Do we have anything? We need something.
Oh, quick. There was one thing. So the promise that Quiche made to Loretta was like, I want to, go journey with you.
Okay.
You're not even...
No, I'm just seeing where you're going with it.
Okay, so yeah, it should have been adventure. I should have done it as adventure. I don't know why I did journey. I think like the first time it came up, Bullkin is the word. I thought, journey's good enough. As I got deeper into the chapters, I realized, man, I really should have done adventure. But you do what you can. So
We have to go back and retcon. We'll change it when we release the Blu-ray version. We'll go
the
back
Game
and
of the Year
do it.
edition.
Yeah. With all the DLC.
With all the omake pages. I don't think I'll ever edit these again. But sometimes, like, when you see a word used so many times in a manga, you do kind of want to mix it up, even if it's kind of like a capital T term. I'm pretty sure it's always Boken, but sometimes I said journey, sometimes I said travel. I don't think I actually used adventure once, though, even though I should have used it every time. But yeah, that's just something. Like I said, every little choice that I'm discussing, nobody would notice or care about. But I do. I care.
And see, that type of autism is why all the passengers are strapped in and not able to escape.
That's why I'm the number one scan later, and this is the number one podcast. And my mommy says I'm number one, so that's why.
Recently vacated spot for who's number one.
Oh, you're right, dude. Press F for him.
Carl
Forgot his name.
Florgensterberger.
Yeah.
He was number one.
I thought that was Schmitty or
Schmitty Warbinson, man.
Yeah, from SpongeBob.
It was his hat. He was number one. It's like, I don't
Forgot
deserve this hat.
Oh, it's funny you just said that, but then I looked up at the end page where the Dragon Prince is wearing the panties on his head. So
that's a
right
good
when
hat.
you said he didn't deserve or I didn't deserve this hat. That was a pretty good end page too. State enforced dragosexuality. I don't have a problem with that. It's equal.
I think that is a good segue as any to go into our
What segue? It's just like the hardest cut ever.
I know. I'm gonna edit in like 10 seconds of silence.
No, you can't, because then I'm the type of guy who like checks his phone if there's even a half second of dead air.
That's gonna be fun.
No, don't add that extra sound.
Just leave it.
Or extra dead air.
This week's Manga Minute is "Don't Cry, Little Demon King," or "Don't Cry, Mao-chan," or "Nakanadai." Mao.
Meow. You should get the cat to meow right now. You've been complaining about the cat. We've had to pause so many times, but that would have been a perfect time, like
Exactly.
for the cat to meow.
But see, since I edited out all the cat meows, that throwback doesn't mean anything to the passengers. They don't know that we've been pausing because there's a cat meowing in the background.
But now they do.
Or should I say a neko?
No, you should never say that. That's a Sudoku tally right there. I think that's fair.
No, I don't want to die.
Oh, you've almost made it to your free Sudoku. You've been putting these on your punch card, right?
Exactly. I'm almost at the free one. Free Subway footlong.
Is that what you stab yourself with, the footlong? Or is that the other guy has the footlong to chop your head off? Because that's how it works. It's a two-man operation.
This week's Mega Minute is "Don't Cry, Little Demon King."
Yep.
Demon Lord Astralin, even though her powers and attitude can be considered of a Demon King, her cute appearance and lack of a strong presence made the heroes view her as a cute and tiny animal. That her subjects are... Wait, that doesn't make sense. That her subjects
the guy
are...
who translated it is that self-admittedly not a great translator.
Is the description is that her subjects are dotting her too much doesn't help in the slightest. Follow the adventures of this
sense.
tiny and cute demon lord and her quest to being a being a being befitting a dude.
Being a being.
Yeah, being a
That's
being
art.
befitting of her title and power and appearance.
I'm not making fun, by the way.
No, I appreciate it. And the way he spelled cute is Kyute.
Nice. You said dotting. Was that you or was it him? Was it doting with one T or two T's?
Two T's.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Who's right there? Is that me? I hope so.
Yeah.
It's my podcast. I'm right.
No, doting is one T. Dotting is like
Okay, he put two T's.
polka dots. Yeah. Okay.
This is from the artist Inchi. It's 2 chapters long, and it's got more views than ours do. But I can tell why, because this is an adorable little demon king.
Well, she's your normal kind of blonde, to use a fan favorite term, loli, and she has like a little demon bikini on, basically.
Which is the demon bikini is a staple in Japanese high art.
Is it?
I feel like it is.
Oh,
I don't know.
She has like little bats, like instead of like I don't know. There's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like on her bikini are like little bats.
Yeah, like where like strings would be or something, or some kind of frill.
Yeah, like
or
where the
it's
bow
like,
tie would be, like for
yeah,
her
they're
bikini.
bat.
Yeah, and she's got like a little cape and everything like that. Yeah, I don't honestly. I couldn't even tell what this manga was about because I was just staring at the pictures too hard.
Oh, okay. Well,
why don't you explain that? Yeah.
This was actually this was my suggestion this week. It's not because I knew of this manga or anything like that, but it's because I did a search. I was on the manga decks, and I said, you know what? I am relatively aware that having a cute little girl as a demon lord is popular enough to be a trope.
I wish we were scanlating this. This would be.
If I weren't principled enough or too principled to pick up used goods, then I'm sure the translator would not mind. He's even said as such that he wants someone to pick it up. But I did a search for Mao, Demon Lord, and I wanted to find one with a cute girl, and because I figured it would fit thematically with this episode, you know? And what was the question?
I don't know if there was a question.
Oh, what was it about? So I don't know. It's so short. It's not about anything yet.
Yeah.
There's like
two and a half chapters.
She's like
out.
an incompetent little demon lord.
Punketsu, if you will.
You might. I might. I don't know. It might make sense. And the hero, the hero's party, which is like the classic Dragon Quest format of like, I don't know, the hero, a soldier, and then like a priestess and a
big
mage.
titty goth GF.
Is she?
I don't know.
Because I don't think she's any of those things. But they just destroy all the subordinate demons and stuff because they grinded to level 99, and then they meet the demon lord, translated as Demon King, and they're like, oh, you're so cute, oh, I just want to touch you with my groper powers. And then she like kills him, and then it seems like it's going to be kind of like a recurring theme of like them coming every chapter and then like trying to not tease her, but I honestly don't know what their end game is.
I mean, I guess to kill the Demon King.
Well, they no, because she's so cute. They're like, oh, I just
They can't,
want to
yeah.
squeeze her cheeks, and like,
I hope you mean my face.
what's that from?
I don't know. Maybe SpongeBob?
Oh, you know, I bet it might be from Fairly Odd Parents. That's my guess.
Maybe.
Couldn't you see that? Like Timmy saying,
could,
like, I hope
yeah.
she meets my face.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. It might be right.
Yeah, could be. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what it is. This is such a short manga. We should have picked a longer one for the manga minute, but...
No, this is great because any one of these pictures, any one of these panels could be a great thumbnail for a video.
And that's why it has so many views, because there's not much there, except...
It's just a tease.
Yeah, actually, it's because there's not much there in terms of her outfit. That's why it's so popular.
It's
See
great.
that?
It's
That's
fantastic. I like it a lot. I had actually, you recommended it to me, and I was like, well, that's fantastic because I've already read this a week ago. Like, it's
I'm pretty sure you sent me a picture of it before. Of
Possibly.
like her on the throne and saying like, oh, I'm the demon lord. I swear, because I'd seen
probably,
that.
and it'd be like,
first picture
here
before.
is the stereotypical Japanese demon lord. This is translated by a guy that just goes by the letter S.
Yep.
And you'd like this guy. His end page is basically like an etymological con. He just breaks down the words that he used.
Like where the names came from, like
Yeah.
the characters, like yeah.
The demon
that's
lord's
really
name
cool.
is Astraloran, which is the origin of Astraloth, which is in lore like a duke of hell, plus the word lolicon. So he just combined the two words.
I'm not completely sure it would be lolicon, because that's more like the dude who is a lolicon rather than the girl who's just
Sure,
lowly.
yeah, but
So I
it's
don't
also
know.
not. I mean, she's
But
also
yeah,
not a
it
demon
is-
king.
I thought it was super cool though that like he did that end page, or that's what he did for his end page.
Yeah, he like shows up like how he came up with the actual turn. The first town is Beginidzu, like come on.
Right.
That's-
Well, yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
That's like a direct translation.
You know what I love about specific art style is when they do the rings for eyes. Nagatoro does this all the time, and it like boom, it like hits me like the Fang does. Like it's so
I'd have
good.
to see. I think I know what you mean, but
They're like dead
I don't have it in
swirl
front of me,
circles.
so-
Oh, they're fantastic. I wish my eyes were like that. That's cool. Why can't I get a swirly eyed GF?
hold on. Have you ever seen it on a guy in anime and thought, oh, that's cool, or do you only see it on girls and think, oh, that's some weird
Fetish
what's the
bait.
word I'm
Yeah,
looking
that's
for?
the one.
No, there's a more specific word I was looking for. I can't think of it. Whatever. Or it's like a fetish, but it has a very negative connotation to it. Where it's like if that's your main fetish, then it's like you'll be a genetic dead end.
Like a foot fetish, like.
No. It's like bestiality is.
Is there an
a
actual word for
blank.
it?
Yeah.
I have no idea. This is out of my wheelhouse.
Man. Well, this isn't my wheelhouse either. I don't like the implication there. Dang.
All right, we're pausing it so I can. Paraphilius?
Yes.
All right, well, I'll just add that part. Yeah, so it's a paraphilius is what it is.
Wow, it's it feels as though you would have looked it up because it was so amazing that you were able to draw that knowledge just from
Well,
the
it was
ether.
from the
It's
ether,
very
yeah.
impressive.
It was all the coordinated crowd consciousness of the monkeys learning how to wash clams or something like.
I think it was. I said coconuts earlier, but I think it was like some kind of fruit. I guess coconuts
Who
are
knows?
fruit. Wow, this was such a great episode.
This was top tier episode. Everybody press 1 in the chat.
I like it. I
do we
can
have
already
some-
tell. I'm gonna
Do
like
we have
it.
some super chats to read?
No.
Do we have some fan mail. I consider all the comments super chats. So that's what we'll go to.
We should probably close off the manga minute by
Yep.
talking about that. I don't know if this guy's still translating it or not,
Oh, really?
because it's
I want some
been
more.
like almost 2 weeks, I think, since the last chapter, which isn't, that's not proof positive of anything. But he has indicated in the comments that he would rather not be the one who has to scanlate it.
Well, nobody wants to be the one to do anything.
I mean, that's kind of true. But
I like it a
I don't
lot.
know.
I don't
There's
even like the
not
manga.
anything
I
there
just
for
like
me.
the design of the girl. That's basically
yeah,
it.
and that's
why
it
you
gets
want-
the
yeah.
views, and that's why people will read it. Yeah, but
It doesn't have the ecche tag. It's just action, comedy, fantasy. It's not perverted other than her
explicitly
outfit.
There,
And it's just
there's
like-
one panel though where like the plant monster kind of tentacle like grabs
Oh,
her
yeah.
by the foot and lifts her up. That could probably be considered etchy. And her outfit in general, you're right.
Yeah,
But
but it's just like a bikini.
yeah, I mean the Overton window of etchiness has been stretched so far into the etchy side where it's like this is now normal.
Well, if you want to be normal, you can go read it on the links below. It's fantastic.
Oh, do we do links now? That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I've always put like links to the mangas in the bottom.
Oh, nice.
And then I
It's an
put links
affiliate
to-
link.
yeah.
Every link.
Every link is
redirects
an
one
affiliate.
view to one of our mangas.
Wouldn't that be great? Like
Yeah.
however many views you spend, we get a kickback.
Nobody cares. Though. It's like only we care about the views on the manga.
If you do want to support the show, you can use the Amazon affiliate link at the bottom. You can just buy manga and stuff. Why not?
I don't
Nobody
know,
does
I
it.
just- I know. I don't know. I still feel weird about that. That's weird. I would say don't advertise it. Let's
Just put it in the bottom.
let's have it there. Yeah.
You can misclick on it. I'll like retitle it something like, "Whoa, check this out!
Here's where to read the manga, and then you link to the manga on Amazon.
Local hot moms want you." Like, just put that in. Local loli wants to meet up.
Local
Legal, yeah.
wants to interlocate.
I can't believe
What's
this
the
is
word for that?
legal. This loli is the
Man
demon
meets with
king,
Loli and doesn't go to jail.
and basically you're stumped. Like,
Yeah. One easy trick to avoid jail time.
basically you're retarded.
If you click on those, you probably are, though, to be fair.
I love those. I love that meme. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Well, where can they
let's see.
find our memes?
All right, let's see. You can go to me.me. That's a meme site. Great name. Terrible site. I've been there like once or twice on accident.
Does-
Go to
it has,
Funny
like,
Chunk,
the-
of course.
Yeah, find our
You can go to-
platform on
what's the one
9gag.
where- What's the one where it says? What's the one where it says?
I'm gonna have to edit this out. So funny.
Right. Oh man. Whoa. What's the one where it says become a funker?
I don't even know what that is.
It's like Mama Funky Punch. That's where you can find us. You can read the manga on Manga Dex. Okay. You could read the manga on Manga Dex. You could. I don't know what else. What do we have? Gab.ai. That's
You
where I
got the-
post links to download the manga and
You got the
any,
YouTube?
news updates.
You got the YouTube. You can find us at Big Guy 4U, the letter 4 and the number U. Yeah, you can just search for the Flight Plan Podcast. I think that comes up. I think we're also on the front page for Manga Scanlation or How To or something like that. So
Oh, that
everybody
would be
give
cool.
us the upvotes.
Yeah, like, subscribe, hit that bell. smash that like button, translate that like button.
Do a trade table sub.
That's it. That's where you can find us.
Hit that
There
little
might be
hit that
other
little bell
places.
icon, and it'll ring your stewardess.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's nice.
Leave messages and
they're
you'll
light
reply.
bulb. At least I don't know. Might be dependent on airline, but the ones that I've seen
Possibly.
are light bulbs. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you might want to crash the light bulb when you're worried and you want to ask for help, reassurance from the stewardess because the plane's about to be crashed with no survivors, much like this podcast.
With no survivors.